Ladies and gentlemen, in the year 2024, after the Gen Z protests, Raila Amolo Odinga nominated some specific leaders of ODM to government in form of experts. And to be honestly speaking, Ali Hassan Joho is not an expert in anything. Opiyo Wandayi is not an expert in energy. Wycliffe Ombetso Paranya is not an expert. But the person who was closest to being an expert, it is John Mbadi. But now, to make matters more worse, one of the most controversial cabinet secretaries in William Ruto's regime, it is John Mbadi. The matters to do education in this country, John Mbadi knew very well that Kenya Kwanza government had messed it up.
Education has been affordable in this country. Today, because of Kenya Kwanza government and mismanagement and lack of interests, the welfare of wananchi, education has become unaffordable, and only people who can afford will now acquire education.
Now he has gotten into the same government, is also messing it up. To sum it up, the only expert Raila Amolo Odinga donated to William Ruto has failed. But that is not the basis of my video here today. I'm looking at this issue from a certain perspective that William Ruto does not allow people to shine under him. Just like Moses Kuria with a smart brain, he was not allowed to execute his mandate. Plus many others like Mutahi Kagwe, who did very well in health, right now is doing nothing in agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, what do I mean by that? William Ruto does not allow people to thrive under him, to look better than his people that he had already nominated or his most trusted cabinet secretaries. And that is going to mess up with ODM people. And that is going to form the basis of my analysis today here. But before I take you through, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mokwa Times, kindly take a second or two to subscribe, like and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Now, John Mbadi wakes up in the morning, goes to parliament and says that the money that is budgeted cannot be able to give 22,000 to students, but just 16,000. After a few hours, William Ruto comes up and says that there is enough money for free education. Then the cabinet secretary, who is the William Ruto's appointee, comes up and says the government is ready to fund the entire education for all students in this country. Now, then if you are a political analyst just like me, or you've been following political matters, you can be able to tell that mtu amechezwa. John Mbadi was set up to do his own things as an expert. And then the government does its popular thing. So John Mbadi created the heat in this country that the government is no longer going to fund education. And then William Ruto comes and says we are going to fund it. Who is not getting the others here? Who is failing? William Ruto knows very well that Mbadi could be saying the truth or not. But instead of them first consulting before taking it to parliament, they wait Mbadi to first make the mistake, and then they comes openly to correct it with his own people. A clear indication that it was a setup for John Mbadi to paint his image negative, and eventually not to portray the ODM experts as the people who are saving the Kenya Kwanza. John Mbadi has been very vocal on social media, in various media platforms, showing how smart he is. But the fact remains that you cannot shine under President William Ruto. I'm very sure John Mbadi now has learned a lesson. Just like Ezekiel Machogu could come up and say, we are having schools being opened tomorrow. William Ruto comes up in the morning and says, the schools are not going to be opened. A clear indication that they are not reading from the same page, and it's that nobody shines under President William Ruto. So in this scenario, the first objective of President William Ruto is to mess up with ODM experts so that they don't have anything to tell the Kenyans when the campaign's time comes, in case Raila Amolo Odinga decides to ditch William Ruto. Number one. Number two, when these people joined government, they went as ODM people. And they have been bragging around saying that ODM donated experts. And now if the experts fail with President William Ruto, the relevance of ODM, it's down. And it will not take long before the issues of energy come up. It will not take long before the issues to do with the minerals come up. It will not take long before Paranya is also sent to start following people with M-Pesa and the stuff. And the same people will be now painted negatively to the public. And the conclusion was that Raila's men have failed. And that is a strategy of President William Ruto to finish Raila completely. I want to take you back slightly. When Raila Amolo Odinga was supposed to donate experts, Ali Hassan Joho, John Mbadi, Opiyo Wandayi, Wycliffe Ambenso Oparanya were all top leaders within the ODM party. One was a minority leader in parliament. Another one was two were deputy party leaders. And ladies and gentlemen, one was the chairperson of the ODM party. In a nutshell, it destabilized the ODM party by taking the top leadership. And right now you can see what is happening in ODM. And ladies and gentlemen, that was also a clear indication to show that it is the ODM that is in government now. William Ruto took the political threats in ODM to his side to tame them. If you remember, John Mbadi called William Ruto's cabinet secretaries a skunk of individuals to run this country. He even accused William Ruto's government of a failed education system, making it very expensive. Now he's in the same docket, overseeing the same things and doing worse. Killing the leadership of ODM completely. Hence, the ODM people trust Rigathi Gachagua now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what could be also the other objective of William Ruto? To tame Raila Amolo Odinga. I'm very sure Raila Amolo Odinga, if William Ruto did well in various sectors, especially on the treasury, in relation to education as well, mining industry, and also microfinance, plus also energy, Raila Amolo Odinga will come out and brag that his people have assisted President William Ruto. But now, when his people do not perform, Kenyans starting hating them. Professionals like now teachers, lecturers, starting to have a negative attitude towards these leaders. What will Raila Amolo Odinga brag to people in 2027 when probably he might have decided to ditch President William Ruto? Nothing. So the major aim of President William Ruto is to tame Raila Amolo Odinga with these leaders that he gave to government. Also, I feel strongly that this was a warning to Raila Amolo Odinga's men. Those especially who are in government, they were being told, you are not in charge. Your visitors who were brought in, so relax. Nyamanza, mupangwe. Kihererere, wacha. That was the message that William Ruto was passing to the ODM people. In government, kuna wenyewe. You don't do anything without consulting the above. I don't know what's your take, but in the comment section you can share with me some of the lessons that you learned from William Ruto, Mbadi, and of course, Migosi's behavior as far as the funding of schools is concerned. See you next time for more videos. My name is Abel Mukwa. Thank you so much for watching. Keep on subscribing. And thank you so much for helping me achieve the 11,000 subscription mark. We're heading to 20. Please be part of this journey. See you next time for more videos.